just in case anyone's forgotten the stuff, sponsored by Unicorn. That's UNIKRN.com. And you're going to hear more about them later. It's I didn't leave a space for a mid-roll before. So it might just ambush you. It might just ambush you and you just won't see it coming. And then like, bam, you'll know about people who help us help you, which is a line I'm going to use in the future because I'm recording this after I've done the mid-roll. So it's a weird time continuity kind of thing. But anyway, Unicorn is very cool and they help us out. And you know what? Maybe they can help you out in having a good time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Teach You Tuesday, where we teach you about the meaning of Tuesday. With me is my co-host, B-Dub, coming to us live. Well, I guess to me live. To you guys recorded, actually. From London?
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you tell us about that thing?
It's gray and cloudy and kind of rainy, and that's kind of wonderful. I don't know. I've missed it. Yeah, well, okay, that's good for you then. That you have something that you've missed. Yeah, even though it's kind of depressing, I've kind of missed it. It's nice and comforting. Yeah, I am a fan of gray and rainy, but some people are not, so we can hang out on our gray and rainy cool side, and other people can enjoy the sun or whatever it is that they do. I'm pretty sure it'll get old quick, though. It's always the way, right? Yes, most likely so. I know a lot of people are starting to feel that seasonal affect depression or whatever when it's like winter and it gets dark all the time. So maybe look forward to that. Yeah, sounds good. Okay, well, I'm glad we got that out of the way. Yeah, no, it's nice to be back. Well, I'm glad for you. And what's your pet situation like? Because you still have the two cats, right? Yes. Were there like other pets that you are now able to see that lived here before you moved, or what? No. Okay. No, I've got two cats with me now. One is sat next to me. Okay. I'm currently living in my brother's place just until I find like a kind of more permanent place, and introducing the cats to a new kind of house was interesting. Like they've never seen stairs before. So that was hilarious. Like one of them came down the stairs today and like she didn't realize that she would gain momentum as she was coming down the stairs. So like she nearly kind of she nearly tumbled all the way down. But I think then she thought that was amazing. And so then she just spent like half an hour kind of running up, running down, running up again. She loved it. And that was great. Yeah, they were nearly put into quarantine, which was almost very sad, but... Yeah, don't, I guess it's good, maybe don't introduce that cat to the outside world, because I feel like there'd be a lot of things that would replicate that situation. Yeah, but... Discovering something new and potentially too much momentum being acquired. Yeah. Yeah. I think, I'm going to keep them inside. I'm too scared about them going outside, honestly. Okay. Yeah, we had one cat that we let outside, and then we went to go see Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and then came back and realized we didn't let the cat back in, and then we never saw it again. And then we were like, all right, next cat, not letting that one outside. Oh, really? Oh, no. Yeah, I wasn't incredibly close to that cat because, like, I was a very young child, so I didn't know how to, create bonds with living beings. Yeah. At least ones that, like, didn't sire me for the most part. Oh. But next cats, that was great. There was one time my fucking cat got out and it just like was gone for like a week. And I just thought it was gone forever. And I was so depressed. And then it came back. I was all like skinny and like wet. And I was just like, what the hell were you doing? All right, so we're going to talk about Dota 2. And we're kind of want to focus on late game decision making / how to end a game / what even is the late game, to put it in a little bit more of a little meta understanding, huh? Let's kind of meditate on that one. All right, so first we're gonna answer some listener questions that have nothing to do with that topic that I have just brought up.
B, do you want to read the first one? You can if you want. Kuma.
Yes. So this is a question from Kuma. He says, what hero should I spam if I wanted to gain MMR, or rank, as it will probably be called, for positions 1, 2, and 3? Invoker is extremely anxiety-inducing in solo pubs because of high expectations.
Okay, so I think we want to address most questions with first you want to look at the kind of underlying premises of the situation. So the underlying assumption one is that that this person wants to gain MMR.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that may be wrong. I feel like they might actually not want to. From my experience, all the MMR that you gain is only really more despair waiting to be torn back down. So you might want to relook at that one and decide for yourself if you actually do want to gain MMR or if you're just happy as it is. But in the assumption that you do, I don't know, positions 1, 2, and 3. That's the carry, the mid, and the off lane. B, what do you want your like if you were queued into a game, what would you want your position 1 or 2 to be? Not like you playing, but like, you see a teammate does and you're like, thank God we have a blank.
I guess let me think. Well, I think I always feel relieved when we have a safe lane Chaos Knight. I don't know. Chaos Knight kind of just snowballs into that uncontrollable force if he has a good game and just becomes unbeatable and, just pulls them all in, and then there's illusions everywhere and they like one hit crit people and stuff like that. Like that's just... And
he got a good voice too. I don't even know what accent that is, but it's strong.
I've actually never played Chaos Knight, so I have no idea what accent he has.
Oh yeah, well I don't know either. It's like this weird kind of like Slavic maybe. Oh, really? I'm not entirely sure. I can't even really imitate it if I'm being honest. Like I can do a number of heroes, but not him. I have to like listen to it.
Dota has some strange...
Like I don't know.
Dota has some really weird accents. Anyway, Chaos Knight, he's great.
Yeah, I would stand by that one. I think Chaos Knight's a good one because I mean, like heroes that you want to spam need to have some elements of reliability in them. Like they can deal with almost any lane and they can deal with almost any situation if they're going to be spammed, of course. And Chaos Knight, like, yeah, he can kill offlaners. He's pretty good 1v1, and he can kind of win any game. Like, he's bad against AoE stuns, but he's so fucking strong at this point that you just get a heart at, like, 20 minutes. And then, like, I don't care how much AoE damage you have. It's not more than a heart's worth of damage, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, he just doesn't die.
Yeah, you can try to do the killing activity to him, but it doesn't really work. So yeah, Chaos Knight definitely one of them. What about mid?
I really like an OD mid.
Yeah, I do too.
I think that's the kind of same thing too, right? OD can just snowball and kind of get out of control too.
Yeah, like he's strong enough that he's always going to be some sort of a force in the mid game, but you can always kind of hit that late game part with OD where just like every one of your right clicks is like a finger of death, basically. Only it's pure damage. And you just cannon out damage to everyone. And he also has like a defensive skill. Like he's really good against Svens and that sort of thing. Like Sven pops up and he's gonna, kill everyone, then you just banish him. And then it's like, all right, let's just chill. And then if some BKBs, you just banish yourself. It's like, what's the problem? It's great.
Yeah.
OD I'm pretty solid with too. And also he's not like hard to play, and it's not like Tinker, where you need like mechanics or Storm where you need to like know how to play a hero. He's just OD. You don't manage your mana. And you right-click people, and the only hard part is knowing whether or not I should take people out of the game or not. And the answer is normally no, actually. The answer is normally no, but just be careful. Sometimes it's yes, though. You're going to fuck that one up a lot. And then there's the offlane. I was drinking water. That's why that was a pause. So who in the offlane do you prefer to be your comrade?
I like a Tidehunter off lane. I just love that area effect ult. But then I don't actually. Maybe he's a bad choice. Wait.
No, he's not bad. Well, I mean, like at a certain level,
his ultimate's just on such a long cooldown, and if you mess it up, then that's it. Like.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
But I don't think he does. I mean, he does do I don't think he does as much as other offlaners. Yeah, I kind of thinking...
He does one thing with certainty, but that one thing is not like as much as every other hero on average, I think is a fine way to argue. Yeah, I mean, I think Tide's a fine hero to spam if you don't really know what you're doing in the offlane, or you just want something reliable that's not going to completely suck. Because I mean, like, one of the things with playing, with like spamming games is just like, you want to make sure that one element of the game is always going to be constant, and that's going to be like, you know, that one constant is what's going to like always lead to a win or has a high chance of leading to a win. And having a stun that's almost going to guaranteed win you a team fight until BKBs come out, like that's a pretty good constant to have in your favor. Like Chaos Knight, the constant is that if I have a decent lane, which I most likely will, I can easily kill individual motherfuckers as I see fit and probably make it to that point where I'm just like unstoppable. And like Tidehunter is similar. It's that if I can not completely lose my lane, which Tidehunter is super tanky, so it's not too difficult to not totally get shut out, I can snap up, win any important team fight that I really want to win. So I think he's a pretty good one to spam. But yeah, I think if you really know what you're doing, there's probably better people. But Tide's easy too, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, that's true. What would be your choices for 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, so for 1, I want to say, I mean, obviously, like, whatever hero you're most, like, comfortable on is always a good answer. But as far as, like, what's most reliable if you're to pick up a new hero, I would say Monkey King is probably a pretty good one to pick up. He's the Battle Fury build is still really good on him. It's actually better than it was before, in my opinion. And I feel like I just don't really lose on this hero. He's able to fight very well late game. Like his level 25 talent, the extra Wukong's command ring, like that's a free Rax. It's like every time. So here's the thing about that one. So you know how so like when it first came out, I looked at it and I was like, oh, the outer ring. There's these 5 monkeys. They're so far spread out. That sucks. Doesn't matter. But actually, the important thing is that the second ring, the ring that was like the inner one or the outer ring when you don't have the thing skilled up. Yeah. They can attack on the outside of their range now, which is like the actual thing that you care about. It's like, you know, like the monkeys can only attack like inside of the circle. Like if you're outside of the circle, a monkey that you're right in front of can just stare at you. It can't actually punch you in the face. You have to walk inside of the circle to punch, right? So it's not. Does that make sense?
Wait, so if you're in the circle and you have to
be... If you're inside of the circle, things will punch you. But like, so let's say I'm in like what would be the attack range of a hero, but I'm on the outside of the circle. Like I can stare a monkey in the face, but if I'm on the outside of the circle, like if I'm looking at one of the outer monkeys, if I'm on the outside, it doesn't matter. I have to cross the circle.
Yes.
So it's not just like, oh, you're now in range of these outer 5 monkeys. It's that what is now the middle 5 monkeys now can attack all around themselves, which is the situation that you're normally in, which is so the outer monkeys don't really matter. It's that it makes the outer the second ring of monkeys be able to attack wherever the fuck they want instead of just inwardly. Anyway, yeah, like that turns into you can high ground off anything. And I mean, he's good. He scales. He has Battle Fury. He gets his items up. You don't go Decimal anymore, so your damage doesn't fall off. He's a good boy. And then, like, Juggernaut's good, especially if you build Divine Rapier on him. That's the whole thing. But I highly recommend that. But yeah, I think Jug's really good, too. Luna is super easy to play. Sven's still good, but Sven's kind of a more difficult hero, even though that seems like a weird thing to say. But yeah, I think, like, if you know how to play, like, Chaos Knight, Luna and Monkey King, that would be a solid set of heroes to play. And they're all pretty reliable. Like Luna doesn't really lose her lane either. She's ranged, so she's not gonna, and not totally ranged, but she's pretty ranged, so she's not gonna, get screwed over by a Tidehunter or an Axe or something like that. And then Monkey King can, pretty much punch any offlaner to death, and it's no issue. And Chaos Knight is, as you said, is just very powerful, strong friend. So I guess those would be my safe lane picks for the most part. For the mid, I'd say OD as well. If you can manage to learn how to play Storm well, Storm for sure. Storm is like dumb good right now. Same thing with Meepo. Meepo's Oh no, Meepo got nerfed. He's still probably too good. But yeah, like OD, Storm Spirit, Queen of Pain I love to death, although that's maybe a little bit more personalized to me than everyone else. But and then Viper is obviously very good still. But I think those would be some decent picks. I'm sure I'm missing someone core that's very strong that I'm just not thinking about. Oh, Zeus. Fucking Zeus is great. Zeus is always good, too. He's always really high on the pub win rates, so maybe learn Zeus.
Interesting.
He's good. And then for offlaners, yeah, Tide, like you said. Centaur is kind of my pick for just like the easiest and best offlaner right now. Yeah, he's just a big, strong boy. He's got a stun. He's got a thing that helps people run away. That's good. You're in a pub. You like people who run away a lot. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, Doom also is fantastic right now, and so is Beastmaster. But as far as heroes that just have an AoE stun, like Tidehunter and Centaur are pretty far up there in my opinion. Underlord 2 is also really good. Yeah, he's very good. The actual like one of the best offlaners right now is just Beastmaster, but not everyone likes to play micro heroes, and Beastmaster is definitely a micro hero. So if you don't want that, you don't have to. It's okay. Don't worry about it. And not Pangolier. He's okay, but just calm down. Like, don't play Pangolier. It's fine. Yeah, I think that's it. Is those few fellows. Mm-hmm. Cool. And not Undying, because that's not an offlaner. I think we've established that, but yeah, just in case. Let's see. What's the next question? All right. So from Austin Langston, that's actually a pretty solid. It's kind of like a rhyming name, huh?
Yeah.
Austin Langston.
That's a cool name.
I like that. Yeah. All right. Question: what is Proud 7.07 Juggernaut build preferences? My references are different. Battle Fury. I'm assuming this is an up thumb emoji or a down thumb emoji. Yep. Okay. Blink ? Thanks. Okay, so this is I've been playing a ton of Juggernaut right now, and I have very strong opinions. The first is that if you don't go Battle Fury, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Battle Fury is just the thing to do. If you can go Battle Fury, you do it. Kind of like how like a really long time ago when Mask was dumb broken and every hero who had a ghost of a reason to buy Mask did. And then now when Mask is still dumb broken and every hero who has a ghost of reason to buy Mask does. I guess it was more dumb broken, but it's still pretty broken. Battle Fury is the same thing. You can get 12-minute Battle Furies on almost any hero. And so you do that. So if you're playing Juggernaut, you build a Battle Fury. There's no reason not to. So always go Battle Fury. Like pretty much every game I'll be Phase, Aki, Battle Fury, Manta, Blink. Never don't go Blink on Juggernaut. Blink is you can't play Juggernaut without Blink. He's just not. That's just not how he works. He's a Blink hero. You want to blink in and you want to Omni Slash. You want to spin and blink out. You want to Omni Slash and then blink out if you're gonna die. You want to blink and get a healing ward somewhere to someone. Like blink Omni Slash is the only way to play Juggernaut. Otherwise you're gonna like have to run through fucking hell with your feet burning on coals and shit, and then you're gonna have to stop and drop a healing ward and it's gonna get poked. And then you're gonna get your Omni Slash off and it's gonna be too late and the creep wave is gonna be there by now and it sucks. You just need Blink on Juggernaut. And it's a farming tool. Like you farm so fast as soon as you get Blink. Between Phase Boots and Blink, you're a rocket man. You go everywhere. You need that.
Juggernaut, yeah. I mean, actually, I really like this question because I was thinking about Juggernaut this evening. I mean, I've only ever played him 4 times because it's just been that bad. And I just had no idea what to build on him. Like, I've never considered Blink or Battle Fury.
Yeah, they're
which are the two things that you're saying is like a must almost.
Yeah. The cool thing about the Battle Fury is that it makes it so his ultimate is not completely like fickle on whether or not there's extra units in the area. Because if you don't have Battle Fury, every Omni Slash needs to be a very good Omni Slash. Like with Battle Fury, I can just fucking do it. And like, yeah, I hit creeps a few times, whatever it cleaves. Like it's fine. Those creep hits are gonna cleave to you anyway. I don't care. So it makes it a lot easier, and also
I didn't
you farm faster too. Yeah, the cleave aspect of it is very good.
I didn't realize that worked that way because I was gonna say like, but what's it really? I mean, yeah, it's good for farming, but what else? And then it's like, oh yeah, that ultimate.
Yeah, the cleave is very good. Also, I mean, there's a lot of little fun facts with Cleave and Juggernaut. So the Omni Strike or the Omni Slash strikes, those proc things like Desolator and Maelstrom and are affected by Cleave and that sort of thing. The ones that do it says, it deals 200 to 225 damage. So the way Omni Slash works is it puts you in a state where you're jumping all around and you're still performing auto attacks while you do that. And in addition to your auto attacks, you're also having these, 3, 6, 9, depending on your level of Omni Slash, those little strikes occur. And they occur every 0.4 seconds or something like that. So basically, for your Omni Slash lasts, however many slashes you have times 0.4 or something like that. And it's basically your auto attack happening for that frequency of time, plus also that many slashes that are going to deal on average, 212 damage or something. So it's just like, oh, I'm free attacking for, 5 seconds or something like that. Well, once you get the talent, it's like I'm free attacking for 4 seconds, plus I'm also getting this extra, 600, not 1,800 damage or something, or 1,200, 1,800 damage or something in there. And all of those are going to cleave as well. So it's very good. It's just like a free period of getting damage out. And that's why, like as I've said a few times, what makes a hero, the difference between a safe lane carry and a mid, is most safe lanes normally have a guaranteed way to get their damage out, be it avoidance when using a chronosphere, or Juggernaut doing an Omni Slash, or Luna having BKB Eclipse or something like that, or Medusa being so tanky and with her ulti that she's always going to get something out, Slark with his Shadow Dance. Every carry almost always has a way to guarantee get their damage out, and that's Juggernaut's is Omni Slash. He's always going to get the damage from his Omni Slash off, unless you don't have a blink and you just get fucking hosed before you get in position for it. So that's Juggernaut. And as far as my total build right now, I mentioned this a bit on Patreon, on the Patreon episode, and a little bit on Thursday, but it always includes Divine Rapier now. I'm just kind of convinced about Divine Rapier on Juggernaut, unless the game is already a total stomp. So my build is pretty much so Stout Shield. I do one. So I do Stout Shield, Tango Salve, and then Mango Clarity, just because regen is good. And you get the Quelling Blade, of course. And then you just kind of rush like Phase Boots into Basilius, and then that into Battle Fury, and then into Aquila. I just like to finish the Battle Fury before the Aquila, because I like, it's good to have the Bassi so that I can actually push the tower if I need to, and I want to get the Battle Fury as fast as possible. And then I need the stats for Aquila, so I finish that up. And then after that, you go Manta, because you just kind of need to have a Manta. You want your Yasha for farming. You want the extra illusions for like split pushing and having more map presence. And then you get the Blink Dagger, because you need Blink to play Juggernaut. There's just no way to play Juggernaut without Blink. Juggernaut without Blink is like an anti-mage without Blink. It's just not a successful hero.
Right.
And then after that, I go Abyssal, because I have Blink. Now I need control. I need to be able to, like, if I can Blink on someone and then, Abyssal them, and then also use my Manta at the same time, I can probably do that, kill someone, and then Omni Slash the next person. And that also makes it so, if I'm Blink Omni Slashing someone, I can start out with an Abyssal, and then several slashes in, I'm going to also get a Bash. And it's just like, all right, so they're stunned for 3.5, 4 seconds of my Omni Slash, which is awesome, because then they don't run to, units or whatever and, disrupt everything I'm trying to do, or use a Force Staff or shit like that. And then after that, I'm hopefully about level 25, where I get my extra 5 Omni Slashes, and then I get a Divine Rapier. And I don't actually know if it's possible to lose a fight with 14 Omni Slash strikes that are all also Divine Rapier, Battle Fury, cleaving crits.
I mean, that does actually sound like the most fun ever.
It's really good. I'm not even, this isn't like you can go Divine Rapier, but like I'm not entirely sure this is for every game, but I have not lost a game where I have done it yet. Even a game where I died very quickly after getting the Divine Rapier. The enemy team just was like aggressive with it, and then we killed them. And we're going to talk a little bit more about like what late game is anyways. But if a hero is not perfectly suited to being a Divine Rapier carrier like Juggernaut at level 25 is, Rapier is really not that good an item. It's just pure plus damage. It doesn't do anything else. So unless you're a hero that only needs extra damage, it's gonna be worse than a lot of things. Like a Sven, I'd much rather have a BKB on a Sven than a fucking Rapier, for fuck's sake. Like, that's not gonna help. I need to not get stunned. Or like a Luna or something. Like maybe I would maybe want a butterfly more, because what if I just get hammed on and then I die? Like what did the rapier do for me? I needed the evasion, you know, like, but Juggernaut, like I just blink in and I press R. I don't need a BKB. What the fuck? Like I'm fine. I just kill everyone with like cleaving for, it's like, I think it's like 5.5 seconds or something like that. I almost lived when I had this Battle Fury, because I got like creamed down to like 50 health or something, survived, just barely got my Omni Slash off. My blink was still on like 5 seconds cooldown, but it lasted so long that I still managed to blink out, because you can blink mid Omni Slash, which is totally balanced. So I was just like, I was like almost dead at 50 health left, and I had 5 seconds left, and I blinked out of my Omni Slash.
You can blink out of Omni Slash?
Yeah, you can mantle while you're Omni Slashing too, which is what I normally do.
Oh.
Like I'm Omni Slashing on someone, and then I pop my Manta, and then I just like micro my Manta illusions around to like body block them and stuff while they're getting Omni Slashed. It's very good.
Wow.
And also it confuses the shit out of them. Yeah, you can use any item while you're Omni Slashing.
I really know nothing about Juggernaut, it seems. No wonder I lost all those games.
he's a strong young lad. But yeah, it's like it's crazy. Like there was like an in-house even that I was playing in, where I got ganked by like 5 people, and I got like a Warlock ulti dropped on me, and I just like Omni Slashed, waited a few seconds, and then just blinked out of it. And I was like, all right, that was fun. Like nice gank, whatever. Like it's good. But yeah, so like it's really hard to die on a Juggernaut if you are able to do an absurd amount of damage without, like, while being invulnerable. Like that's a good way to be a Battle Fury carrier, or a Divine Rapier carrier, and it works with the Battle Fury great, because doesn't matter what your slashes are. Like you're just gonna, like I did it against a Meepo, and man, that fucking dude died fast in like one Omni Slash. It was like he had like 3 E blades and a heart and all this stupid shit, and it does not matter to a Divine Rapier Juggernaut with fucking 14 Omni Slash strikes. Anyway, so that's my Juggernaut take. I'm glad we managed to get through that. Is that the end of it? Yeah. Cool. All right. And there's some other questions, but we're going to hit those next week, because we don't want to do too many questions, because we don't want to. All right, B, where we at?
So we're going to talk about late game stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Well, you have some questions, I believe.
Well,
and
one
that's
of my questions
journey.
actually was about Juggernaut build stuff, and we've kind of gone over that.
We can actually
bit.
just tell Juice to loop this.
Yeah.
And I can drink more water.
Repeat that bit.
Yeah.
I have, I guess, Luna questions. I mean,
okay.
We were having a little chat before we recorded about this, about how I seem to end every Luna game still with a Ring of Aquila, and that just seems kind of silly, and I don't know why. That I played a game and I ended it with a Ring of Aquila and a wand still.
Yeah, there probably are items that should replace those at some point in the game.
Like I seem to get stuck. So I go treads. So like after my treads,
okay, yeah, this does look a little silly, huh? So you have you do have a Boots of Travel, but still have an Aquila and a wand.
Okay. So the
maybe something could have changed.
So the Boots of Travel thing, we were just about to. It was about to end, right? Because we were winning.
Okay.
And it was about to end, and I was like, oh. I just come back alive, and I was going to miss the ending, so I just decided to buy it. I wouldn't normally buy that. That was just like a fun, like, oh, I want to be at the ancient. I want to hit the ancient. So,
yeah, no, you need to be in the ending score screen, otherwise it looked like you didn't do anything at all. No, that's perfect.
Yeah, so that's why that's there. But ignoring that, and let's say that's treads instead. Okay, you're looking at treads, Aquila, wand, Mask of Madness, Manta, and a BKB, right? And I mean, I was doing pretty well with like my KDA. Not that great in terms of last hitting, I don't think. What was my? But yeah, I should not have finished with a ring and a wand.
Yeah, let's see. So you had like 550 GPM. Your net worth was like pretty high. Let's see, 16.9. So that's what? So there's 4 wrapped up in this. So that's like 13 left over. Another 5. So you have about 8. And then like you probably had a bit more gold. left over than just this Boots of Travel. So it's, I mean, obviously, if you don't have the gold for anything to replace a wand and an Aquila, of course it makes sense to still have them. But you're saying that, like, as you're kind of nearing the place where you should be replacing them, you're not really sure what you should be looking to replace them with.
Yeah, and because that's a very specific example of like that one game, but I'm looking at my other Luna games and it's all the same thing. Like I end pretty much every single game with like a ring. Like I ended one game and it went on for 58 minutes and I still had a ring at the end. I mean, I did have a dragon lance instead of my wand, but I kind of just get stuck at that point and then I kind of ignore items, which is dumb.
Okay, I'm getting a sense of it here.
Yeah.
So even this game where you have the Dragon Lance, that's about the point where you would have the Aquila replaced because you want a slot for TP, of course. But it's nice to have your Aquila there to swap in and out when you're actually fighting, that sort of thing. But yeah, so in general, when you're dealing with most items, you want to replace them once you don't have slots for them anymore, but you want to replace the items that you don't really have a need for anymore. And I mean that in a very strict sense, as in need. Like when you're dealing with the laning phase, you need an Aquila to push a tower because the way that you kill towers is by your creep wave surviving and them and like you plus the creep wave are able to take the tower. Once the game goes on, like your creep wave having an extra 2 armor doesn't really matter. What defines whether or not your creep wave is going to survive is whether or not like a fucking invoker meatball is dropped on them, or if Rubik and Magnus and Windrunner all shoot their wave clearing nukes at them, right? Like the Aquila isn't quite as necessary for pushing anymore. And same thing with like Wand. Wand gives you, some like a small amount of mana and health during a fight, pseudo regeneration kind of deal. And also some HP regeneration that's nice for like the laning stage and the jungling stage before you have a ton of HP regen yourself. But those two things are not super important in the late game. So like as the game goes on, you should feel totally fine to be replacing either of those with any item that you acquire. The thing that only trips me up is kind of the order in which I replace them, but in general, I would say it's almost always better to have a town portal scroll ready than it is to, or teleport scroll rather, than it is to like still have an Aquila or a wand in that slot that's going to be that like could be your prepared town portal scroll. Yeah.
Okay.
At least I would say that. And in terms of and for pretty much every build, you want to have kind of planned out for like so when things are going to be replacing other things. Like on Luna, for instance, let me go into a demo mode real quick. And this is going to tie into some stuff that we're gonna try to cover later in terms of like understanding what items you're getting and why you're getting them for certain points in time. So let's see here. So basic progression. So I got Treads, Wand, Aquila, Mask, and then I've got my Dragonlance. So this is like a very core set of Luna items. And I have a Town Portal Scroll, my Boots, my Wand, my Aquila, and then like a Mask and a Dragonlance. A lot of Luna games, I won't even get the Wand. That's more preference. Like if you need it for the lane or whatever, it's pretty hit or miss. Like if I'm getting the Dragonlance, I don't think it's entirely necessary because I would like to kind of like the main way you want most of your items to work out is you want like anything that you buy that's costing you a good amount of money or is money that's not completely necessary to the laning phase as like like a salve or something like that. Like those are just items that you buy for the laning phase. But anything beyond that that's not going to be going into like a core set of mid game items. I want to make sure that I can fit that into my set of items that includes a TP scroll. So if I want to have like my first big purchase on Luna is always going to be a Manta, right? So if I have Treads, a TP, Aquila, a Wand, a Mask, and a Dragonlance, I can't have a TP scroll and a Manta. And like when I'm at 21 minutes or something, I'm going to want to be able to TP to a tier 2 to save it or my one remaining tier 1 or whatever because people are moving around a ton at this point. So you might want to just nix the wand completely if you are going to go for the Dragonlance, which I would kind of recommend.
Okay.
But so you want the Manta style, of course. We've identified that, and then you want the BKB, and like then it gets kind of simple. Like it's good to keep your Aquila and so that you can swap it in if you're about to fight or whatever. But don't worry about that too much if you're not comfortable with swapping items around a lot. But then you would just get the BKB, and then you have like a solid set of items. You have the Mask of Madness, the Dragonlance, and the Treads, which are your kind of like intermediary early-ish items. And then you're like mid-late game items that you're going to kind of keep forever, which is the Manta style and the BKB. And then you can build it up pretty naturally from there. Then you've got like enough move speed and general stuff like, oh, I can switch my Town Portal Scroll out now for a... is it Town Portal or Teleport in this game? It's still Town Portal Scroll. Okay, cool. Then you can, swap that out for a Butterfly or something, and then next, upgrade your Lance to a Pike if you didn't need to do that yet, and if you still think that you are going to need that to be high grounding or whatever, and then maybe I'll swap my Mask out for a Satanic or for a Scotty or something like that. Yeah, I mean it's. Yeah, like I would highly recommend kind of figuring out how you're going to replace things beforehand, and you kind of need to both work forward and work backward to figure that out. Because I know as a Luna, like Luna has low range, right? So you kind of want to be able to end a game, the Dragonlance definitely makes ending a game much earlier on Luna, right? It's a difference between how much auto attack range does she have. That's like 570 versus 330. Like that's 470 versus 330. That's a pretty big difference. And like the closer you have to be to a tower to hit it, like that's the difference between needing to be on low ground to hit the tower and being able to, or rather needing to be on high ground to hit the tower and having the luxury of staying on low ground. And then also Luna has glaives, right? So actually all you really have to do is attack something in front of the tower to be taking the enemy high ground tower. So you want to look at like what you want to be high grounding with, and then kind of work backward and see what items you can kind of give up to get there. Mask of Madness you probably want to keep for a pretty long time, just because it's like after you open up your entire arsenal, like you've used your Eclipse, thrown a Lucent Beam, and you've kind of like people aren't going to be auto attacking you while you've got Eclipse going. So that's when you pop your Mask of Madness and you go crazy and try to just fucking blow everything up and, like fucking, what is this term? Scorched Earth? Yeah, you want a whole Scorched Earth kind of policy where just everything is desolation and death and whirling moonglaves. Okay. So you want to get there, and if you're looking like, okay, what do I need to be there? I need a BKB so that I'm not going to just get fucking trounced in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. I need Treads because that's how Dota 2 works. I need my Manta because I want double the illusions and I need some kind of pseudo escape or whatever. I need the Dragonlance because I want to be able to do this before I get fucking trounced. And that leaves what? So we don't really need our Satanic yet. We don't need our Butterfly. I can do that with Mask of Madness because I'll have a ton of crazy attack speed to do that. And I would like to be able to have a slot for Aegis, potentially, and a TP scroll. So that you're like, okay, so what item is going to get cut? Okay, so Aquila is probably going to get cut because my ability to walk high ground and kill everyone doesn't really hinge on giving a 2 armor aura to my units, right? Like it doesn't. It's good, but it's not like that's not the linchpin of your strategy at this point, as much as a Manta style putting tons of things everywhere and like, moving one to cancel blink daggers and shit like that. And having the Hurricane Pike to force out in case things are crazy or to force yourself in to initiate when they weren't expecting it. So in general, in terms of itemizing for more late game situations or just like what you're looking at in general as you start replacing items is just kind of know what you want to be working towards and like kind of what you need before other things. Like you're going to need a BKB before you need a Butterfly, right? Like you get a Butterfly, sweet, I do a ton of damage. Doesn't matter if I get stun locked and killed. Like Mask of Madness is very good, but okay, I need Mask of Madness. Is that going to win a fight if I don't have a Dragonlance and I need to be in the middle of the fight to get anything done? Like probably it might still work, but there's a good chance you just get your face kicked in.
Yeah.
And that's not a good situation for you or your cat.
No.
It's actually really bad for cats. They don't have helmets. That's not a thing that they have.
That's very true.
Yeah. Is there any things I didn't address? Because it's a weird, it's not a weird question, but it's like a difficult question to address precisely. Like what situation do you think that you fall into that like results in this issue?
I think, like, I mean, part of the problem is that I'm kind of concentrating so much on what I should be doing. I'm not doing any of the things that I should be doing, if that makes sense. So, like, I'm not looking at, like, I'm really bad at kind of, like, looking at items and what I should be, and, like, thinking about what would work best in the kind of, like, in the game that I'm playing. I'll just kind of default back to the guide and go, okay, well, I guess, you know,
okay, so this is
items on there, and I'll just pick that at random. Like,
This is what I like to kind of do when I'm coming up with a build or trying to replicate, you know, someone playing a hero, and they're being really successful at it. Is like, okay, so I think Luna is a fine example, and I want you to think about like losing to a Luna and like what that looks like. So like let's say a Luna is breaching your high ground. Like what exactly is a Luna doing that makes you like, oh shit, they're high grounding and we're going to lose this fight if we fight into it, or we can't stop this Luna from high grounding. Like what is that situation?
As in like, wait, what, as in like, what is she doing to like make?
Yeah. Like what is she doing? What is
throwing
like,
her glaives around all over the place? I guess like actually, is
she just walking up to your tower and you're like, and you just can't do anything?
I guess usually she has like she has a Lincoln's usually. I feel like this is a thing that I'm kind of like, now I'm thinking about it, like you try and stun her and then she's like, oh no, sorry, like.
Yeah, well,
and then she probably has a BKB
at that point.
Yeah. Oh, actually, would you get Lincoln's and a BKB? I guess not. You just get one, right?
I don't normally get a Lincoln's on Luna, except in like, you know, very specific circumstances, like maybe against like a Legion commander or something.
Okay, so she has
normally just activating the BKB is enough.
So she has like the BKB and she walks up and stuns someone and just ults, and then everyone's like, oh no, and then there's, you know, illusions around and glaives flying everywhere, and it's just like, chaos. It's just chaos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you want to look. So that's perfect. Like when I think of Luna, the terrifying situation is she just like walks up somewhere and then she like plants her flag and she's like, "This is Luna Town, and glaives live here." And then everyone's like, "Fuck! I can't. This does damage. This sucks." Your supports move forward and they just all get like chopped up by fucking flying lawnmowers. Like it's not a good time.
That's usually me, the support that's getting chopped up. Yeah.
Yeah, like Lion does not thrive in that situation. Like that's not his sort of jungle.
No, it's
just a sword pit. It's not fun.
It's a real sad time.
Yeah, so if you look at Luna, you'd say, okay, what items lead me to the situation where I'm able to claim territory and just fucking create a blade farm where all of my swords live? And that's like, you know, like Manta, as you said, you have all those Manta illusions, the glaives are going everywhere. You need some sort of item that lets you just claim territory. So you need a certain amount of survivability, and also a BKB, as you said. You need to be like, you know, full health. Ideally, you don't want to just get picked off. So some sort of survivability item, like Mask of Madness is pretty good when you use your Eclipse or whatever. You need your Eclipse up. You know that for a fact. So you know not to high ground if you don't have Eclipse. And if you think about like what like leads up to that, like it's not like a Luna just, you know, nothing's happening and then a Luna blinks in. It's normally, you know, she's gonna like walk up or something, or she needs to approach that area.
Yeah.
So you think, okay, so what needs to, like, how am I going to get up to that area safely? And like maybe I have long range through my Dragonlance, so you know the approach is always going to be easier because I can, you know, start having my glaives kind of cover for me as I'm moving up because I can attack from longer range. Or I have a Force Staff and I just or Hurricane Pike and I just Hurricane Pike myself up, pop BKB Eclipse, and I'm just punching fucking buildings. So yeah, but like none of that involves a wand or an Aquila, right? Those are all like, each of those activities is a specific item that does that for you. The treads so that you can move, the Manta to make your illusions and to, you know, like have all those glaives flying everywhere. The Dragonlance or Force or Hurricane Pike to like allow you to actually get to that area. The Black King Bar to ensure that you're able to actually claim your territory. And then the Mask of Madness to kind of like, you know, either farm you there or make it so after you have your BKB popped, you can ensure that the entire town is just going to be your swords. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like working backwards. Yeah, so that's That's what I try to do when I'm trying to figure out a build with someone. Like OD, you know what's terrifying about OD? When he blinks up and I get sheeped, and then I just fucking die. So I try to work sheep into my OD builds, and it works out really well. Just kind of visualize that of like, I really, really do like when you get killed by something, think very hard or like commit to memory the exact image of your fucking despair, and then seek to imitate that in your waking life.
That, like, that's such a good idea. I know it sounds like it should be obvious, like, right? But like...
Yeah, and it also sounds kind of like a motivational speaker. Like, visualize the Dota player that you want to be, and you'll do it. But like, nah, like, you need this, like, something... Like, you know what's scary about Chaos Knight? When he fucking pops up and they all have 4,000 health.
Yes.
Not when he has a Manta style. I've never been scared of a Chaos Knight popping a Manta style. When has that been the terrifying situation of Chaos Knight? Literally never. The scary thing is he goes and he gets like 5 illusions and they all have 4,000 health and he fucking reality rifts you and you're just like, dead. Jesus, who are all these long, strong fucking horses and shit? And then they all stomp on you. Yeah, like the Manta style is not in that equation. The equation is armlet and whatever, you know, maybe you can delay that 2,000 gold for a drum or an Echo Saber or something. And then heart. Like that's what I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of Manta. I'm not afraid of it. I'm just afraid of armlet and heart. That's it. So that's what people do on Chaos Knight. You just get armlet, maybe a drummer, an Echo Saber, maybe a BKB if you need a BKB, and then you just get a fucking heart. Yeah, just do that. Just, you know, what's scary about, like, what situation is going to be terrifying? Like anti-mage, this is back on Proudland when we were doing some stuff. We talked about anti-mage. Like, what is the point where an anti-mage is killing you? Is it when he has a Battle Fury? No, that's when he's farming. Is it when he has a Manta style? Not really. That's when he just can't be killed anymore because you'll blink and silence him in Homanta. Yeah. The scary part is when he has Abyssal, because he blinks on you, Abyssals you, pops Manta, and then he just strips all your mana and you get mana voided all in the course of 2 seconds and you fucking die. So, like, don't do anything besides get to that scary point that you know exists. Like, I died to Anti-Mage when he blinks on me, Abyssals me, Mantas, and then just, like, tears me down. So, when I play Anti-Mage, I'm going to get to that point and I'm not going to care about anything else.
Yeah.
Cool. Hello, everyone. It's Proud here, and I'm here to tell you about the people that help us help you. Unicorn it's like an esports outlet. We've talked about it a lot. I imagine that is known at this point, but they got like betting and stuff for like Dota and CS:GO on like esports things, and there's like a lot of Dota shit going on right now. So, and there's a lot of stuff to do. It's cool. Proves engagement with games. Like, you actually will care about watching Pro Dota more. It's like, you want to win them points. That's kind of the only reason that people play games, is to get points. So you get points, and then you care about it more, and you actually watch, and then you actually learn things, which is why I started watching Pro Dota. So I was, doing this sort of thing. And I learned a bunch of stuff, and now I'm incredibly good. So basically, if you use this thing, you'll be better than me, is the exact phrasing that I'm saying here. Anyway, yeah, use Unicorn. It's totally legal and free to play esports betting, and then real money betting if you're in UK or Australia, which I'm sure some people do. There's a population of humans in those countries. So hopefully some of you are there and you can do that. There's also like articles and analysis and stuff, some of them from Gorgon, who we're good friends with. And there's like some cool 706 maps, or 707 maps. 706 map would be very cool. That's a little outdated. Anyway, check it out. Thank you. Any other questions?
I mean, I don't know whether we want to go into late game stuff that we...
I'm fine with doing that. Do you have other that related questions?
Not really.
Or okay, all right. So we'll. Oh, there was like the what makes a late game item, that sort of stuff, or there's. Yeah. Okay. Do you want to phrase that question in your own perfect way?
Sure. So, I guess when I'm thinking about late game items, I am kind of wondering. Yeah, like you said, I don't know whether there's any other way of phrasing it, but what makes an item a late game item?
Yeah, so this is something that I don't really have a great term for. I kind of tried to coin it once as something that I would call a transformative item, and that's the concept of like an item that radically shifts what your hero is capable of doing, like the sort of tasks that your hero can complete, like as soon as you get a sheep stick on OD, he goes from I just punch guys that I can touch to I am going to hold you down in some sort of mammalian form and kill you. And like that's very different from just like, an Ursa with no basher. Like as soon as Ursa gets a basher, he goes from please God don't have a force staff to like I don't care what you do, you are dying right now. And like Luna with a BKB, like if we're visualizing Luna taking high ground, there's a Luna that's just walking up to tower and then gets stun locked and killed, and a Luna who can turn invincible to everything and just kill towers. And like that's just a fundamentally different hero at that point. Like the difference between a lifestealer without his built-in BKB or not, like that's the fact that he has rage transforms him from a melee creep into a fucking hero. And late game items are items that elevate your hero one more level from there. So like Luna getting a Manta style, now not only can she like push really hard, she can pop these illusions and then send them down a lane, and she can be pushing 2 or 3 lanes at once, or be high grounding and then pop Manta, and then there's just glaives everywhere, and you don't know which Luna is the real Luna, and it's very scary and strong.
Yeah.
So I'd say late game items are those items that completely covers, or maybe not completely, but like cover certain weaknesses of your hero that make them an entirely separate threat that needs to be dealt with. Kind of like evolves the difficulty in their ability to be dealt with, or evolves their ability to like to be countered by a certain defense, or evolves their ability to like be stopped in any certain way. Like something that is kind of like a midway between a late game item and a regular item is like a Sanjin Yasha. Like I'd say Scotty is probably a late game item or a transformative item.
Right.
I mean, Scotty's definitely a late game item. It's not just the item cost that makes it late game. It's like Scotty not only makes you a wildly tanky hero. So instead of like as soon as Luna gets a Scotty, instead of a hero that can just be kind of like killed by a lot of physical damage or something, as soon as I have a Scotty and a BKB, like I can't be fucking killed. Like you just cannot kill me in like a short burst of time. That you're gonna have to wear me down. But a Sanjin Yasha, it's like it's similar. It gives you health. It gives you a move speed slow, kind of. But it really doesn't change your hero that much. It just kind of like elevates your hero to be more of that hero. Like a Sven with a Sanjin Yasha is just a Sven with more move speed and a slight slow, right? Like it's not crazy. It just makes you different. Like Drum doesn't. When a Juggernaut gets a Drum, I'm still dealing with the Juggernaut. It's not like, he has Battle Fury. If he Omni Slashes, it doesn't matter from close to creeps. Or Butterfly, like, if I try to attack him, I'm just not going to do any damage because he's going to dodge everything, and he does wild damage back, and it's just like, our carry can't fight Juggernaut anymore. They have a Battle Fury. Like, that's not what Drum does. Drum is just a Drum.
Yeah.
And like a Force Staff means, if my Ursa jumps on that Dazzle, Dazzle's going to get away, and Ursa's not going to do anything. Drum is like, if Ursa jumps on Dazzle, he's gonna have 20 more move speed and still die. Like that's kind of, and that's why like Force Staff is a totally good item late game, because it's still transforming what you're able to do. Whereas Drum is just like, all it really is some stats and some move speed and like fucking whatever. Yeah, and that's like why let's say some other, it was like a Blade Mail. Blade Mail is a fine late game item. Yes, it's 2,200 gold, but Blade Mail makes it so there's a point in time where if the enemy attacks you, they will take damage equal to the amount of damage they deal out. So it makes it so attacking you is going to hurt the enemy a lot at all stages of the game. So does that make sense? Kind of like any item that like creates like something that can't just be brushed aside, but like a certain state that's just like that's unmanageable without a separate kind of direct counter to your hero. I think is probably a good way to phrase it.
Okay. Yeah, like I never would have thought that Blade Mail could be counted as a late game item, but I guess like it is so kind of key to quite a few heroes.
Like an Axe, like when would an Axe or a Legion not want their Blade Mail anymore, right? Like they always want that.
Yeah, that's so true.
And like, at what point in a support's life when they're against an Ursa are they like, I've outlived the usefulness of my Force Staff? Like, no, buddy, you're keeping that one. Like, don't give that one away. Force Staff, I think, is the best example because that's like, Force Staff and Glimmer Cape both are like, they're very cheap items. Glimmer Cape's only $18.50, but I would take like on a support. There's a lot of examples where I would take a Glimmer Cape over over like a Crimson Guard or a Sanjin Yasha. I mean, obviously a Sanjin Yasha. No support's hanging out with a Sanjin Yasha. But I would take a Glimmer Cape over a Bloodstone on a support, like 9 times out of 10. Nine times out of 10, I would take a Glimmer Cape over a Bloodstone on a support, just because the thing that it does isn't just like brushed aside. Yeah, support an enemy support can have dust or something, but once you hit late game, like, you know, a 6-slotted alchemist is not carrying a fucking dust of disappearance in their back pocket. Like, maybe in their back pocket, but not in their inventory. Is the point.
So,
and like same thing with like, you know, Shadow Blade and Silver Edge too, like, and Blink Dagger. Like, Blink Dagger is 2,100 gold. Definitely a late game item.
Yeah. Interesting. So you were saying, do supports get Bloodstone?
I mean, if you're doing really well on Alina support and you're transforming to a core, maybe. But in most cases, I don't really think there's a single support I would recommend Bloodstone on besides like Omni Knight if you're balling out of control. Even then, I don't think so. Like, if I had that much gold on a support, I would get a Sheepstick.
Yeah, true. Sheepstick is so good.
It's so good, and Slark can't remove it anymore, which is a beautiful fact.
Oh.
And you see that there's like the one change that just looked kind of whatever, but it's actually wild, is that like Hex can't be dispelled at all. So Dark Pact, which is what Slark uses to get out of things, you hex him. Doesn't matter if he pressed Q or not. He's just hexed forever. Well, for the actual duration of it, which feels like forever on Slark.
I had no idea. I feel like I'm not really seeing Slark in my games recently, though. He's just not...
You probably aren't. He's still not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time where I was just like, no, not a Slark again, but
yeah,
now I'm just a Slark.
We lost to a Slark recently, and I was like, I'm not looking forward, because he's getting a bit more attention right now from a lot of people. There's like one build that people are toying around with, which is there's like this one thing that people have been doing. They get Orchid to silence you, and then the Nullifier item, which makes it so you can't use items, and then it's like Build-A-Bear Workshop, only you make Doom, and they like nullify you and Orchid you at the same time, and I'm like, I can't use items or skills? Like, what the fuck? How do I interact with this? And you don't. It sucks.
So would you say Nullify is a late game item?
Yeah, just it's bad, though, is the only problem. It's that it's bad.
I don't think I've seen one in any of my games recently.
Yeah, I've seen one in my own hands, and it didn't make me feel good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say it's a late game item, like being able to stop, kind of like like Disruptor's Ags, so you can't BKB out of his ulti and that sort of thing. Yeah. Like, his Ags is a late game item, I think I would say, because it disables, the counterplay to him. Like, you can no longer just BKB as soon as I ulti, and it validates me. Like, now you need to play around me in a way that you can't. Like, now you need to play around me. You can't just shrug off my ultimate. I am now like a force to be reckoned with that it can't just be, you can't just like look away from it. It has to be dealt with in a direct manner. And Nullifier is pretty similar. Like, if I'm Skywrath or something, and I for some fucking reason have a Nullifier, and I silence you, and then I nullify you, like, fuck, I'm Slark, and now I can't BKB out of this silence. This sucks. Same thing like using it on a Storm Spirit or something like that. Nullifier is just weird in that it sucks, so it's not the perfect example. But yeah, like Lincoln Sphere also, like, now I can no longer blink Doom you if I'm Doom. Lincoln Sphere does kind of suck because as the game goes on, now I get Halvin's Halberd, and I can blink Halberd then Doom you. So Lincoln Sphere kind of falls off in that regard to some degree. But yeah, like I would say so. Like Shiva's Guard is kind of falls into that category, but also like Shiva's isn't really going to make me play differently. I'm just going to do less damage and you have more armor now. But at the same time, like, it makes it so you have a ton of armor, so it's kind of harder to deal with. So there's like degrees of impossibility to deal with. Okay. Yeah. Anyway. So,
I mean, this might be on a bit of a kind of tangent, but you were just talking about Halberd, right? Why do people not get that anymore as much? Like, I just don't see Heaven's Halberd that much.
People, there was like a brief period where people was like, everyone was buying it, and now it's kind of gone back to not that much anymore.
Yeah, because I mean, it sounds good, like evasion, damage, strength, like you get the disarm,
it is good.
Like,
it's just like it's so hard to fit it onto most heroes. Like, it's more or less an off laners or 4 positions item, right? Like, very few mids or safe laners are looking at something and they want like, I want to disarm. Like it's normally like I want to stun you so I can like hold you down and kill you, or I want to be insanely tanky myself, or I want to do more damage, right? Like the only disables carries normally get are like Abyssal Blades and Orchids and what the fuck? Sheep Sticks. That way that things that stop people from using defensive abilities, right? Because most heroes who have a bunch of gold are using that to just kill people. Like that's our militaristic society that we've been born into. Right. And the people who don't have a lot of money instead of are getting the items that are protecting people, like Glimmer Capes and Force Staves, that sort of thing. So you have an item like Heaven's Halberd, which is like 3,500. Like Force Staff and Glimmer Cape, the saving items, 2,000 gold. The killing items are like 6,000. The killing disable items like 6,000, 4,000. What is I think Sheepstick also? Like, oh my god, I'm doing basic. It's almost 6,000. It's like 5.8 or something. Where the fuck is this item? 5.7. Okay, yeah, 5.7k.
Yeah.
So it's kind of in a weird spot, but that's why like the heroes that are more in the middle, like offlaners, get it, because offlaners want to be tanky. And they also want people to not die. And, you know, your offlaner isn't the one who's blink abyssaling and 1 to 100 or 100% to zeroing someone. But also your offlaners need Blink Dagger and BKB often, in my opinion, and a Force Staff if they're like Slardar or something like that. But heroes like you would expect it to be on like a Centaur or a Doom or an Underlord or Axe is a common builder of it.
Okay.
But then there's also like like if I'm playing Doom, I want my Initiate item, my Shadow Blade or Blink. I want my BKB because Doom loves BKB. I want whatever item I needed at the start, be it like a drum or an armor item to tank me up. And then I can get the evasion and the disable kind of thing. But that's still like 4 items in. And most games, people besides your carry and your mid aren't the ones that are getting 3 or 4 items in the middle of a game. So that's kind of what's wrong with Halberd. Not really wrong, because whenever that item is good, it's fucking wild. You can't BKB out of it. It's crazy. You get disarmed and BKBing doesn't remove it. You can BKB and then not get disarmed, but if you disarm me before I BKB, it just persists. It's fucking crazy.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, which is really weird, right? Like literally nothing in Dota works like that except for this.
Yeah, that sounds really good, but
yeah. It's kind of like Disruptor's ulti with Ags, where like if I'm BKB'd and you Ags on and you ulti on top of me, it's not like it removes my BKB, but if you Ags ulti on top of me, I can't activate my BKB. Kind of similar, where like if you disarm me, I can't stop it from happening. Yeah. But if I'm BKB'd, you can't start it up.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's really good, but yeah, it's just like who do you buy it on and when? And the answer is on your like offlaners after they have 2 or 3 items, which is not the super most common occurrence.
Okay, so if we are talking about help, like, and late game items, would you say Heaven's Halberd is a late game item if you are getting it, or not really?
Yeah, no, I would say so. There, because like I said, how you can't BKB out of it.
True.
That puts it in a position where, as long as like if you were using the item, it's not able to be countered. It's literally uncounterable. Besides just not fighting for like 2.5 seconds or whatever it is. Like if a Sven blinks in and you halberd them before they pop BKB, that Sven is fucked. There is no property in which like that Sven is not completely fucked in.
Yeah.
Like none. Like that Sven is just done. That's like he's fucking hard countered. I mean, normally they'll BKB before they blink in, but if you catch them or their BKB wears off, or mostly like if you catch a Sven and then you initiate with the halberd and then start killing his teammates, Sven is just going to be like, what fuck? Like what? How do I? I'm going to throw my Stormhammer and then I don't have it for when I have a fucking sword. That sucks.
And that's what you were talking about when you were saying like an item's transformative, right?
Yeah. So like, if my Dazzle turns from someone who Shallow Graves people into a hero who, not that I'm going to get Halberd on Dazzle, but if my Doom turns from someone who just, takes Storm Spirit out of the game to someone who takes Storm Spirit and Sven out of a fight for, like 3 seconds and 18 seconds both, like that's an entirely different game of Dota 2 that I'm working with. Like if I'm I'm working with a game where Sven can't even do shit for 3 seconds, that's a way easier game to win. Whereas if I'm dealing with a game where my Doom has, like an extra 5 armor, that's not a different game of Dota 2. If everyone has an extra 4 armor because my Doom built a Vlad's, like that's the same game of Dota 2 we were just playing, only we're going to die a little slower. That's why, like, there's a lot of items that I'm very hesitant to pick up if they're not like transformative items. Like a Sanjin Yasha there needs to be a very good reason for me to want a Sanjin Yasha on a hero. Otherwise, I'm just getting an item that makes me do the same thing I was doing, but more.
Yeah.
And the way that Dota 2 works, like, you win off of transforming your hero into an unstoppable entity. Like, as soon as Luna gets the BKB and the Manta and, like, the butterfly and whatever, like, when she BKBs and she has evasion, so she doesn't take physical damage. So now she's going to create fucking Sword Town and no one can, like, encroach on her territory. And that's because you transformed her into a fucking higher state of being. Yeah. But if you just have, like, oh, I'm going to buy an Sanjin Yasha after my Battle Fury, like, why? What's that going to do? It's a good item. Like, what the fuck does that mean? I don't know. What does that even mean? How does it make anything different?
As you're talking about Sanjin Yasha, earlier you were saying how you don't get it on Monkey King anymore.
I do, actually.
Oh, you do?
Well, I don't. I did try yesterday, and it didn't go well. So yes, I will say I mostly don't.
Yeah, I'm having a look at your Dota Earth at the moment, and you haven't. I think, like, I mean, apart from the one yesterday, the last time you picked one up was like 2 months ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. Yeah. You are correct. I do not go that on any. I do not because the reason for that is I was starting to get into higher MMR games, or the play style was getting faster. Between people figuring out the patch and not.
Right.
And I was needing to get to that transformative state earlier. Like the time to fucking like put up or shut up was happening way earlier in the games that I was playing.
Okay.
So like similar with Luna, like if I'm at a point where I need to hit my Manta BKB timing very fast, I need to transform into my like unstoppable monster. Like I'm gonna cut out Mask of Madness and just try to get where I need to get faster. Or like I'm gonna cut out a Midas is the perfect example is like cutting out a Midas or cutting out a wand or something like that to get where you want to be faster. And for Monkey King, the difference is instead of going the old build when I was able to be super greedy because people weren't playing very fast was I would go Treads, Battle Fury, Sanjin Yasha, Desolator, then BKB. And then the game sped up like 2 times speed overnight.
Yeah.
And then my build had to be like, I needed to get to the BKB, otherwise I would just fucking die. So then my build became, okay, so how can I get to be doing damage and have a BKB as fast as possible? And that was Treads, Battle Fury, Echo Saber, then BKB. And then I would go whatever damage item or whatever thing I needed after that. But that was like, that's later. That's I think I'm getting that like 4,000 gold faster or something like that. I don't know exactly, but yeah.
So I guess like you've swapped out the Sanjin Yasha for the Echo Saber, right?
Yeah, and that's not strictly because I think it's that much better. But if I'm not able to get Deso and Sanjin Yasha, I still want something that's going to transform the way my hero plays.
Yeah.
And Echo Saber turns my ulti from just like, oh man, this sucks, but it's manageable, to like this fucking double hit slow is unplayably annoying. That's what I wanted to get, because I wasn't going to be able to get that Desolator that turns my Q into like one-shotting everything. So the Sanjin Yasha is kind of whatever, because the Sanjin Yasha is like, Sanjin Yasha like elevates your hero to another level, and the idea was, okay, I'm going to get my Sanjin Yasha to like, get my hero to be more Monkey Kingly, and then I get the Deso, and that's my transformative. That's when I go from I hit you hard to like I fucking one-shot you. But if I'm not going to, I one-shot you, I'm just Monkey King that hits you hard. So I wanted the Echo Saber to transform me into a different kind of element to deal with, where my ulti is more of a control-y kind of thing than just raw damage. And that kind of makes up for me not having another item before BKB.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, Dota's weird, man. It's like a very weird game. God, what time are we at? Okay, we are actually past an hour. I wanted to go into other things. Were there any other questions? I may hit a couple points real quick.
Go for it.
Okay. So one of the things I wrote down here was, so we went over what makes something a late game item, which was about halfway through the things I wrote down, which is good. There was how do these items get you? See, the way I write notes is I do them very matter of factly as the way I say them in my head, but I don't really say them in a way that's helpful until like I remember the mindset that I was in. So I'm just doing that sweet exercise real quick into my mind palace. So how do these items get you places? I don't know. Let's not look at that one. What purchases lead to high ground? So that's like, okay, how do I know what item is going to lead me to high ground? And that's, again, with the visualization thing you say. Like if I'm playing Juggernaut, what item leads me to be able to high ground on Juggernaut? Well, not many of them, honestly. There's not really like any particular item that leads to Juggernaut high grounding. What actually leads to Juggernaut high grounding is getting a pick off and being able to take high ground kind of uncontested, or just, sieging with your Blade Fury and then blinking backwards. But pretty much even then, like the way I high ground with Juggernaut is either I get a pick off and then I say, okay, what does a pick off look like with Juggernaut? It could just be I find someone and I Omni Slash them, which, maybe it's kind of hard to it's kind of hard to high ground if I've already used Omni Slash. Typically people respawn before the 110-second cooldown. So the pick off is probably going to look like, either my team does it all themselves, or I get a Blink Abyssal on someone and I tear them down and then we high ground. So like Blink Abyssal may be the item that gets me to high ground. It's not exactly the item I high ground with, but it's what gets me there. And then if I'm going to do it just by sieging with Blade Fury, the way I'm going to do that is my wave is coming up, and instead of walking up there, I'm going to just blink to high ground and then auto attack while I'm spinning, because you can do that. And then when I've got about 3 seconds left or 2 seconds left on my spin, then I'm going to start walking backwards, pop my phase boots, and then as soon as my my Blade Fury runs out, I'm going to pop Manta just to like disperse myself a little more and then get out. So if I'm going to high ground, basically either way I high ground, a blink is going to make it happen. It's either going to get me a pick off or it's going to let me high ground more safely on Juggernaut. So like certain things like that, like in Terrorblade, I'm going to high ground once I have, an item that makes me tanky enough that I can't be initiated on. So I'm going to have like a Scotty and a BKB on Terrorblade before I high ground, unless I'm just wildly fucking strong and I'm level 25 with 300 metamorphosis attack range. Also, I'm going to need a Dragonlance until I have that level 25 talent. So like just stuff like that, like on Bloodseeker, I'm not going to high ground until I have a BKB, because what if I get fucking jumped?
Yeah,
just shit like that.
Yeah, BKB seems to be kind of like the ultimate high grounding kind of item.
Yeah, in general, if someone on your team is going to go BKB, don't high ground without it. That's a pretty good place to start. But yeah, like the best example that's kind of like a little bit off what you would expect is like Blink for Juggernaut, because Blink gets you the opening to actually high ground. Same thing with Sven. Like I'm going to high ground on, like Sven isn't going to just walk up to a tower 5v5. He's going to get, stunned out and have to use his BKB. And then he's just trying to walk at you with his BKB popped. And that's not how Sven works. Sven works by I blink on you, I stun 3 people, and I cleave them all to death. None of that involves me getting stunned first. So like it may just be an item that gets you the opening to high ground, or it's the item that you high ground with yourself. And then it's okay. So the other things I hate for are like what support items lead to high ground, what offlane items lead to high ground, rather. And that's just like kind of similar to like, oh, okay, Jug Blink gets you the opening to high ground. Similarly, okay, how do I high ground? If I'm playing Warlock, how do I get us into the high ground situation? And it's mostly just like, okay, we're gonna maybe a really deep ward that's gonna find their carry that we can smoke to. If I want to high ground in the next 10 minutes, I need to have a smoke on me. And I need to have placed a ward that's going to find an important core, and I need to have a blink. And then I'm going to take my team with me, and we're going to blink, and we're going to kill that one core, and then we're going to go high ground, and my team is going to be sieging, and as soon as I see an opening as the lion, I'm going to blink forward, like hex a fucking Tide Hunter or something, because Kraken Shell can't break that either, and then I'm going to then I'm going to like finger them, and then force staff myself backwards so I don't die. And like, And that's kind of it's weird to think. Normally we think, okay, what am I going to get to high ground? It's like, oh, my Tide blink refresher, or my Sven BKB, because I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about, and I assume that Sven is just going to BKB and walk up to that tower and it's going to die. God. And but no, like actually what's going to let you high ground is your Lion getting a pick off via a deep ward, and then your Lion being able to like get a nice solid initiation onto high ground. Or like Monkey King, what lets me high ground? It's when I get my Scotty or Scotty and BKB, and then I like leap up on some trees, and then I do my Monkey King ulti like from the trees that are beside their bottom racks or whatever, and then their entire place that they were setting up on is like now our territory, and they're all getting slowed and they're confused. Like that's how we high ground. It's not like I just walk up to a building and hit it. It's, you know, you're going to have to do some weird, you need to imagine what situation is actually going to be high groundable for you, whether that be a pickoff or good initiation or just some kind of unkillable force on your side. And then you need to buy whatever items or whatever sequence of items actually makes that happen. Cool. I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh shit, we have to do ads. I forgot about that.
Whoops.
Fuck. It's fine. We'll record that and it'll be fine. So you're hearing this after you've already heard the ads, most likely. Cool. Okay, yes. All right, so is that good? Are we good?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't host these normally, so you gotta give me a little bit. I don't know what I'm doing, man.
Yeah, I mean, we've covered items and high grounding and late game stuff. So that's good. It's nearly 4 a.m. for me here.
Oh, for you, yeah, that's a good point. That's because you live in the gray town.
Yeah, I mean, I am jet lagged a bit, but
yeah, that makes a good amount of sense.
It is 3:45 in the morning.
Okay, I did get a new haircut, by the way. You didn't ask, but
oh really?
That's why I look so good.
What's it like?
It's the same, actually.
Oh, nice. Kind
of reshaved that little side thing, and it's very soft and nice, so that's what's different about me. Oh. You didn't ask, but, you know, a little offensive, but it's fine. So this has been Teach Me Tuesday. I hope we taught you on Tuesday, unless, well, yeah, it'll probably be Tuesday for everyone. You can... Sam needs to write me something. I don't know how to do this, man. You can follow us on Twitter. I am at Proud Dota. B-Dub, would you like to tell them your sequence of letters?
I am A-up B-Dub. A-Y-U-P B-Dub. That is my Twitter handle.
Hell yes. Is it B like the letter B or
no,
B-E-E?
B-E-E.
Buzz, motherfucker.
Yes.
Okay. And our show is at Fourth Spirit on Twitter.com. Mm-hmm. And
write us some
email
questions.
Us questions.
Yeah,
email some questions to show@fourthspirit.com. And
or you can send a direct message to any of the hosts.
The email's a little easier to keep track of, I will say.
That's true. Email is
it's easy.
Yeah, email's
That's
nice.
what the E stands for. Easy mail.
Easy.
Yeah. Our Patreon. The fuck? We should have said that earlier. People probably skipped already. Damn it. I fucked up. All right.
You're fired.
I didn't want to get fired. That seems an overreaction.
It's late. I don't have time for this.
Okay, yeah, that's right. All right, so we have a Patreon. There's a bunch of new goals and shit. Please look at it for fuck's sake. It's very good and very fun. Some of the goals are good. B's going to draw you something in 5 minutes, and it's going to be funny. Prow's going to yell at you. Ursi's going to do something no one's interested in. If we make a certain goal, which is like, not too much higher than what we're already at, there's going to be a video series that's like, I forget, once a month, once a week. It's once a something. And basically, Ursi's going to play through Dark Souls, and I'm going to be yelling at him the whole time, and also inside of his game fairly often whenever I want to be to help him out because he's fucking bad. And that's going to be great. And there's other stuff like that. There's cool stuff. So go to that. Okay, I think that's it. Also, of course, thank you to Unicorn. I'm going to record that ad and then put it there. But, of course... UNIKRN, I forgot how to spell real quick, .com. Check that shit out. It's cool. All the fucking pro games that are happening now, there's a fucking ton of shit. There's just a lot of it. So do that. They support us, and we are very thankful. Thank you, and now, B, you're allowed to go to bed.
Thanks. I'm tired.
Okay. Goodbye.
Bye.